gunman invades the building and opens fire, killing 2 Capitol cops while hordes of summer tourists watch.
All hell broke loose. It just boom, 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 boom.
One nagging question tonight is how a gunman could get through security at our nation's capital. And even more disturbing, we're told the suspect was already labeled a threat by the Secret Service. His acquaintances describe him as paranoid and convinced the government was out to get him. Drew Levinson is live in Washington, D.C. with a recap of today's events. Drew.
Well, good evening to you, Barbara. There is tremendous sadness here on Capitol Hill tonight as everyone is mourning the loss of 2 veteran officers. The Capitol is a very secure building, yet somehow the gunman made it inside.
It was the unthinkable. On a crowded, sunny afternoon at the height of tourist season, gunfire erupting in the People's House. The alleged gunman, identified as 42-year-old Russel Weston of Montana, burst through the east entrance of the building, known for its security. His weapon setting off the detectors and igniting the shooting.
The shooting occurred at that location, right at the metal detector and right where the x-ray machine is.
We just walked in there probably 10 seconds before and heard a loud boom, and then it was just startling.
I thought somebody dropped something. I mean, there's so many people in there. And then I kept walking, and that's when I heard consecutive shots. 5, 6, 7 shots maybe.
Capitol police officers responded immediately, wounding the suspect, but not before he killed the officers, Jacob Chestnut and John Gibson, and shot a female tourist.
These officers died bravely while performing their duty to protect the nation's capital, the United States Congress, and the millions of visitors who enter this building every year.
Service to their country, to the men and women in Congress, their staffs, and those who tour the building regularly. Those words are being echoed over and over again, inside and outside the hallowed halls of the building where the flag now flies at half-staff.
A number of people today owe their lives to 2 very courageous Capitol policemen who gave theirs. John Gibson was one of the finest men I knew. He was a damn good Democrat, too, I guess. And he was one tough son of a gun, because he took some bullets and he still brought the shooter down.
We know as these 2 brave men, Officer Chestnut and Officer Gibson, have shown that freedom is not free. There is a price to be paid.
Lawmakers are vowing to keep the Capitol building open. Weston, meanwhile, underwent surgery earlier tonight. He is expected to survive. Now, sources say authorities did know him. He was no stranger to federal authorities. In fact, 2 years ago, the Secret Service investigated him after he made veiled threats to the president. Live at the Capitol, I'm Drew Levinson. Barbara.
Drew, I know the president was not in Washington today when this happened. Have we heard anything from him?
Right, he was at Camp David when this actually occurred, but he has expressed his sympathy and his concern about the events. We expect to hear him, actually, his words, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks a lot, Drew. The suspect in this case has some eerie similarities to Uni-Bomber Ted Kaczinski. Russel Weston lives in this cabin near Helena, Montana, just 40 miles from Kaczinski's infamous shack. Today, neighbors said Weston was anti-government and had some peculiar beliefs, including one about a satellite dish near his home.
He claimed it was pointing at his house and the government was watching him through that dish. And I said, no, Rusty, that's not happening at all. But you couldn't convince him of it.
Weston also reportedly had an argument with his father just a few days ago and may have used his dad's gun in today's shooting. We'll have more on suspect Russel Weston a little later on in the newscast. As you've heard, today's shooting hit close to home for members of Congress. Tonight, California Senator Barbara Boxer talked to Channel 5 about her fears and her hopes. Roz Plater.
Nightmare, the hallowed halls of Congress suddenly become a killing field, and California legislators